Welcome to the 166th episode of News Dump, where we run through the hottest topics in the Lewis County news scene and discuss. It is Tuesday, November 28th. I'm local man Aaron VanTuyl, joined by Chronicle editor-in-chief Eric Schwartz, Chronicle assistant editor Isabel Vander, Stoep, and Chronicle photo editor Jared Wenzelburger. We're also joined in spirit by sponsors Summit Funding and The Roof Doctor. And before we get into our news items, which were carefully curated from the last 2 days of news, despite not having a podcast for 2 weeks, do we have any preambles?
Happy late Thanksgiving to all.
Do you guys want to talk about what you were thankful for last week, but are no longer thankful for as the holiday has passed?
You.
Lies.
There was a brief moment on Thanksgiving where I was happy you weren't around.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
And now I'm not that happy that you're not around anymore because you're here. Did you have a good Thanksgiving, Aaron?
Yeah, I had a great Thanksgiving.
Thanks for watching my dog.
I was going to say, checked on your fucking dog.
You did a great job. That dog's got a bladder of steel.
Yeah, that dog really doesn't pee very much. Anyway, anything else? Anything you guys are thankful for?
I'm thankful for all sorts of stuff. I spent the entire day not the entire day, but until about 3 on Alaska talking to different students and teachers, and I don't really want to spoil what it was all about, but it was really fun, and I'm thankful for educators and also athletics because it's been a really fun week getting to see all of that football state and yada yada. It's great.
All right.
Yeah, who you got in the chippers this week?
I got Tumwater Napa, and of course.
Picking the home teams. You going to go with Yelm as well?
Yeah, Yelm, they got a shot, I guess.
We're going to have more than comprehensive coverage of all 3 of those games.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for all of them. I don't know that I'll go to all of them, but I'm excited anyways.
Yeah. All right. News?
News.
First item, commissioners hope to, quote, right-size Lewis County government with 2024 budget. And I don't have any real hot takes on this, actually. I know you guys are shocked.
You already burned them all up the last time we were on here.
Yeah, I got some takes off last time.
And the time before.
And the time before. Probably the time before that.
Literally all
being
I was
honest.
going to say.
We've got some other stuff I'll have takes on. But, yeah, I don't know. They're talking about the budget. 19 offices and departments requested increases in 2024 for a total of $2.49 million, yet only $1.2 million in increases were approved. I don't know. The story's got all the people all the departments that requested more money and things like that. The one I did notice was the Board of County Commissioners requesting an increase of $46,500, which they then rejected, which is their own request, which kind of felt like, see, we're all making sacrifices.
Yeah, they were
here.
showing that there was a give and take.
They take recommendations from a citizens commission on the budget. So that's probably, I would imagine the commission was like, no, you don't need that.
Yeah, and now they're going to start listening to an advisory board?
I don't know. I'm just saying, I bet that it wasn't only their decision.
How funny would it be if they came back and were like, we've actually passed a budget increasing everybody's budgets. We don't know how numbers work, and we don't want to pretend to care.
You didn't include on your list here the sheriff's office that had its request of $576,000 rejected this year.
Rejected in full, citing if you have so many vacancies, maybe hire people into those instead of creating new positions.
I did see that, and I felt like that was the correct thing to do. It was a valid point.
Conservatively fiscal governance, Aaron.
Yes. Yeah. So I would still be interested in knowing how and where the perceived budget shortfall occurred, and the process of how we got to here. But I'm sure that'll be, coming in the future. They are having a public budget meeting on December 4th, the day they're supposed to approve the budget, which is kind of cramming it in there at the last minute, kind of a speak now or forever hold your peace situation. But, if you're interested in the budget, I suppose that's a meeting you could go to next Monday.
Yeah, I think that's right. You've exercised incredible restraint here, Aaron. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Next up, Sheriff's Office investigating case of Toledo woman who died of 2 gunshot wounds. This is a sad story. Patricia Griggs from Toledo is the deceased, and her death is both extremely sad and mysterious. The sheriff's office said on November 14th that it didn't appear that anyone other than the deceased would have had any part in her death. I will reread the headline. Sheriff's office investigating case of Toledo woman who died of 2 gunshot wounds. Does anybody have a comment on why that would be interesting?
Well, first of all, this is kind of breaking policy, I guess, for us. Because normally if we have a suicide and it happens in someone's own home, it's not public. It's not something that we're going to report on. But in this case, we started to hear back from the public that there had been a murder. And just with the history of the sheriff's office and notifications to the public, et cetera, thought it would be good to at least say exactly what happened according to the coroner in the sheriff's office. Isabel put this together. So you might have more insights on that. I don't want to read anything into it as far as the 2 gunshot wounds, not an investigator. And I don't really want to start thinking about how that could be self-inflicted twice. But yeah, that's the information we know, and it's out there now. And
ultimately, what I think is worth saying here, and what I said to the sheriff's office, was that when your local newspaper is asked, hey, was there a murder? They have a responsibility to the readers and members of the public to tell them whether or not that happened. And this isn't that, but it's still giving them all of the information that we can give. And so, yeah, it's an unusual thing. I have no desire to speculate about what happened or anything, but hopefully the information that we published was pretty cut and dry. Like I said, it's everything that we have.
Yeah, and I don't know. I was going to make some jokes, but I am not. I'm going to show even further restraint.
Wow.
Good job.
Thank you.
What a noble guy.
Better than the author of Herman this week.
Herman. And like, this is one thing, like the sheriff can make an announcement, like we don't see any reason to believe that this was caused by anybody but the deceased. And in certain situations, you would take a law enforcement office at face value with that if they have built up any trust. But lately, I feel like that trust is lacking, and the public is well within their rights and making a reasoned take to ask serious questions about, are you sure, and things like that. So
I just wish we could hear it from the sheriff's office before the rumor mill starts firing up.
I believe they could prevent said rumor mill if they got ahead of it like that. And I believe I've made that clear.
Yeah. Anyway, next item. Letters can again be mailed to Santa in downtown Chehalis. Experience Chehalis, Book and Brush, and Totally Possum are doing the Letters to Santa program again this year, and this is cool. I encourage everyone, even if they're an adult, to sign up, maybe under a friend's name, and have Santa send them a letter explaining why they will or will not receive whatever they said they wanted for Christmas. For example, Dear Eric, I'm sorry, but I will be unable to bring you an 8-foot Japanese love pillow in the shape of Lady Dimitrescu, made entirely of Camel Crush cigarettes. It won't fit in my sleigh. However, your nephew Jared should enjoy his new World Series champion Texas Rangers jersey.
Oh, that's such a good burn on all accounts. Just everywhere.
Isabel just likes it because she didn't get burned.
That's true.
Isabel will enjoy her new soapbox.
Yep, I would.
Anyway, send a letter to Santa if you feel so inclined, or maybe if you don't believe, you're waiting for all the evidence about Santa to come out. Hold off until next year.
Did you guys all come from Santa households?
Yeah, I did.
Santa, you were also Santa household?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Except
Unlike Eric's household.
No, mine were passive. They never told you there was a Santa. My dad would always just say ho 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 when I asked him if there was a Santa.
your household now.
Oh no, we're a non-Santa household.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't lie to my children like your parents did.
Did you tell Ty there was a Santa?
Yeah.
So
He still believes there's a Santa.
Just a massive
only kid
lie
at WF West.
perpetrated upon our youth, generation after generation.
So I'm the youngest of 3, and I was, in the upper half of the single digits, and my parents.
So you were 8? What are you like?
Probably, yeah. I don't really
dancing around. There's like a
The
4-year
upper half of single digits.
I don't know.
What
I
are
just
you
can't
talking about?
I just can't remember exactly how old I was. I remember that I was like not 10. Nice email.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, my parents were like, "Oh, there's no Santa, right?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't until now." Like, it was so nonchalant. I felt slighted.
I mean, did you think they're going to make like a whole big production? And
No, it's just, I feel like at that time with the third kid, they were like, what's the point in this anymore?
If you could write a letter to Santa, what would it say, Aaron? Dear Santa, I want a balanced budget for Lewis County in 2024.
Dear Santa, I know I have as much of it. I'm ready to you because the sheriff's office won't return my letters.
No, jeez.
Dear
Anyway.
Santa, listen to this thing that the Chronicle put in its comics section this week.
Dear Santa, could you beat up Old Man Transalta, and why not?
No, we couldn't.
Of course not.
No, I'm certain that Old Man Transalta is ripped.
Yeah, he is. He's our true Santa Claus. Next item, Northwest Salmon Smokehouse and Artisan Market to open at former Bartels in downtown Chehalis. Frank and Danielle Fawns?
Sure.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
Me either.
They're renovating the space and converting it to a restaurant. The store will take after its namesake and specialize in smoked salmon. The other half will be an artisan market stocked with locally sourced items from throughout Southwest Washington and Northwest Oregon.
I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, sounds neat.
They're doing a lot of work down there.
The only thing I don't like is seeing comments on a story like this. And it's like, finally, somewhere to eat in Chehalis. It's like, we have all kinds of restaurants. What
Yeah,
are you
like
talking
McDonald's, Burger King, Taco
about?
Bell.
You go to that Thai place that's open twice a week.
Yeah, on a good week.
You could go to all the places you get DoorDash from.
Pecking House. Oh, wait, that's Centralia.
Yeah. What
So
did I
2
miss?
weeks of news, and those 4 items were all you deemed dump worthy.
All on the front page.
Oh,
Well, there was a
man.
lot of murders we could have got. More murders we could have gotten into.
Yeah, well, it's not dumpy.
True. I don't know. Yeah. What else is in today's paper?
There's a lot in today's paper, Aaron. Thank you for asking. Not in today's paper, but there's batting cages going to be installed over at Bob Peters Field. That's pretty cool. There's
Is that what the Ben Chaney Society or Foundation was there for?
That is what the Ben.
Do you know who Ben
Chaney-
Chaney was?
Yes, I do. He brought a baseball team to the Pacific Northwest. Correct.
Do you know what else he did?
I was on his Wikipedia page earlier today.
Owned a little baseball team. Maybe you've heard of them, the San Francisco Giants
Oh, did he really?
in the 60s. Yeah.
He also founded the Cheney Lumber Company.
Lived in Bay Center, Washington for a time.
He didn't live in Cheney.
No,
No.
no patience for Eastern jokes around here. Tough football season.
I didn't
What
know
else?
that.
What else is on the front page?
Chehalis School District will run a levy proposal on the February ballot. This is not on the front page, but there is a teaser. 3 linked to Lewis County meth operation arrested and charged following Janet investigation.
We actually
Yeah,
have
well
a
said.
follow up to that that'll go up later tonight on Cronline. There is a number 4.
Ooh.
All right.
Breaking Bad.
I'm not sure if it's appropriate to mention here, but Jared is friends with the 4th on Facebook.
Ooh.
Really?
Small town.
Oh, you just got lots of friends.
Is it Franklin?
I mean,
They gotta click the link.
ultimately, you could very well be, in that case, linked to Lewis County meth operation.
Yeah, you could be the next domino to fall. Oh, no. For all we know.
Yeah.
People really loved that new Travel Centers of America truck stop thing. That story did numbers online.
I've got the link to the Facebook post in Facebook comments of the week. I haven't read the comments, but I saw there was 300 some of them, and I don't know why.
A lot of people were unhappy about what this might
Why?
mean for traffic.
Yeah.
But did they not read the part where there's going to be a Sbarro's there?
There's already
Authentic Italian cuisine right here in Lewis County.
Finally, something to eat in Chehalis.
Which exit is this on?
It's going to be the Rush Road exit, I think.
Yeah, it'll definitely
There are
be.
already like 3 truck stops there.
Yeah, but they don't have a Cinnabon, a Jimmy John's, a Jamba Juice, a Sbarro, or a KFC with a drive-through.
I mean,
Boom.
Boom, roasted.
people know there's 2 exits in Happavine, right?
No,
Just take the next one. It's not that far.
that's date night right there. Just take her to a truck stop, Aaron.
I like the picture that goes along with this. You got, is that Brian Watson holding the golden shovel?
It's Napa Vine City Councilor Brian Watson to you.
Not coworker Brian Watson.
Also coworker Brian Watson, but not in this capacity.
320 comments. Some of them are good. Some of them are traffic already a mess. This is going to make it worse.
Yeah, see, I told you.
They're going to have to put stoplights in. There's already a stoplight.
Traffic can get difficult down there, though. I understand what the readers are saying.
Yeah, I do think they'll probably have to make some infrastructure changes. But, I mean, that whole exit is like, I feel like it could easily be improved. You know what I mean? It wouldn't take that much. Probably just like some stoplights.
These comments. There's more than one Knapvine exit. Then a reply to that. When I come home every year, I end up either getting off at exit 68 or Vander if the freeway is backed up. I try and avoid it at 72 if I can. It's nerve-wracking and stupid. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't give away your secrets, lady. These comments. Had me at Jamba Juice.
See? I told you. Is there any Sparrow fans in there?
Yes.
Should be.
What is that?
Oh, wait. It's
authentic Italian cuisine.
There's a note from a Sparrow fan.
I declare bankruptcy!
Yeah.
Had me at Cinnabon. What are people doing? Indian food, smiley face.
Why you gotta hate on everybody's responses? What's the proper response to this, Aaron?
This is fine.
Okay.
No, the proper response is no
That's how
response
you
because who gives a
respond.
shit? Just
You
don't
respond
go
to
there.
everything with "this is fine."
Yeah. And I'm always right.
I thought we were saving that one for Hero of the Week.
Any other Hero of the Week truck stop? Mm-hmm. Any other news that we should hit?
There's a new executive director at the United Way, Chastity Pennington.
That one was in People's Champ.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Read the
Well,
notes.
Sorry, I never read the notes.
That's okay.
Lewis County Young Professionals Christmas collaboration event set for December 14th, so all you youngsters can go hang out and have coffee at the station.
I am always curious what the cutoff is for that.
You are definitely in the young professionals still, both
I
of
don't
you.
know about that.
I don't think I am.
Yep, no.
I'm pretty sure it's 40.
Is there an old professionals group?
It's just like
Just
the Rotary
professionals.
Club.
Yeah, like Lewis County professionals. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the 40 over 40.
I think it's a really fun thing. It's sort of like if Festival of Trees had a much lower buy-in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a cool event. I'm excited.
The other one you didn't add on here is Minuteman Press opening up at the Lewis County Mall. Friend of the podcast and the Chronicle, Daryl Lund.
Oh, yeah.
That's his business. Isabel wrote about that.
Yep, that was a fun one. And Shakara Ryan, who is working there, a former Staples employee, was a friend of Jared's too. And so we went there and it's just a whole bunch of pals talking about printing.
Love it.
It was great.
Longtime Rochester Christmas tree farmer prepares for holiday season. We got a story on Don Tapio.
Yeah, he's real wholesome.
He's a good reminder that all you need to get a feature story is write us a letter asking for one and calling us the best newspaper in the Pacific Northwest. That's all it takes.
Yeah. Mitchell filed that story with the slug, wholesome Christmas tree story.
I stopped by the farm over the weekend.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I don't see anything else worth talking about in this in 2
Did you
weeks
get a
worth of
tree?
newspapers.
Oh, that's just weak.
Did you get your tree, Eric?
Yeah, I got a tree.
Nice.
Not from that farm. We looked, but
Oh.
very, very particular on our trees.
Not good enough for you down at Don Tapio's, huh?
They were good. They were good, almost too good. We needed a rattier tree, so we went to a different place.
I get that. You got to find a tree that fits your vibe.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Jeff and Julie from Fairway Lanes.
Jeff and I met JSIC of Summit Funding at our bowling center, so when we fell in love with this community and it was time to relocate, we knew we would be calling Summit Funding.
They understand that everyone has a unique situation when buying a home.
He had already helped 2 of our employees get into their own homes. The Summit Funding team exceeded our expectations. It was a seamless experience with great communication from his whole team.
Thank you to Summit Funding for making our buying experience special and memorable.
All right, we're back, and now we move to segments. And first up is Tales from the Takes page. And boy, oh boy, were we... You know what? This is what I would like to revisit my earlier statement. This is what I'm thankful for this
I am
week.
also thankful for it.
It was my dad texted me about this, and then I went and read it and decided it was time to start on the podcast notes. And so I slapped it on the page. And a few minutes later, I got a message from Schwartz with a screenshot of it. And I was like, you know what? We're all aligned on this one. Headline, letter to the editor. Comic was rude, belittling, and insulting. From the letter, can you say rude, derogatory, belittling, insulting, question mark? Well, I'm saying all that and more. No, not the news, but rather a, quote, comic in your Saturday, November 18th edition. Picture this. 2 older men having a chat, one in an overcoat and hat, the other slightly overweight and pulling a car jack. No big deal, right? That is, until you read the caption. Your wife's stuck in the bath again. Is this okay with you, Chronicle? Did you think this was funny, deserving a chuckle? Well, it's not okay with me. Not funny. No chuckle here. Guess I wonder if you are at all sensitive to this unflattering and offensive message. Guess I wonder if you even care. May I suggest that you carefully examine and reevaluate content from Herman by Jim Unger. May I also suggest that you have more respect for your readers.
By the way,
letter.
I would like to say
That read was so good.
Yeah, I would like to say I'm mostly laughing at Aaron, but also because we do not know what the comics are going to be. We pay for a subscription with the comics, and so it was just the very accusatory, angry with the Chronicle as an organization. I can't help but laugh. I'm sorry.
I really like that they cared that much,
I do too.
and that they wrote a letter to the editor about it, and that the letter ran promptly. And Jim Unger would be very interested in this. Were he alive? But he died in 2012.
Jim Unger was born before World War II in London.
He's an older gentleman.
He died in
at his passing.
2012 in Canada.
Yeah, I don't think.
It's run before, sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this
It's
comic
provoking,
this
you know?
comic
It
was-
got the people going.
This comic was probably his comic strip was syndicated for 18 years. So we can imagine this comic, he probably wrote it in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure Jim Unger, from the pictures of him I pulled up, he looks cool as shit. Just like a burned out hippie in a blue tank top and some aviators, shaggy hair. Looks awesome.
For those at the nexus of reading our comics page religiously and listening to this podcast, I will just double down on what Isabel said. We not subscribe. We pay for the rights to for each of those comics, we're going through 4 or 5 different companies, and they all send them to another vendor that we pay that puts them together, and then they send it to another vendor that colorizes them, and then we just get a finished product. But
it's the comics don't even really show up in the proofs, do they?
No, we
They're
don't.
yeah.
We don't look at them before they go. There is some responsibility to the syndicates that sell them to us to make sure there's nothing outrageous in there. Though we did have the great Dilbert incident of 2022, if you recall, and people remain unhappy with his replacement, which shall not be named here.
Oh, yeah. All right.
It's a really bad comic. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Not in an edgy sort of way either.
It's just bad. It's just not funny.
It's just not very funny. It's not edgy like Herman. I don't know why, but the combination of reading this letter and then finding the comic she was talking about made me laugh so hard once. The punchline hit so much harder for Herman after that.
It was it looks like the kind of comic that would have been cut out of the newspaper and pinned up in an office in 1985.
Yeah.
And it would have been old then.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me at all that she was bothered by this I understand being offended by it, but I also just couldn't help but laugh, because this letter was so impassioned, and just like Eric said, I love that she wrote that, so it's just fun for us when we get that kind of thing.
Next item in Tales from the Takes page, a letter to the editor, headline, unlike some of our politicians, Theodore Roosevelt was not a coward. I didn't even read the article or the letter. Don't need to. Tagline rips.
It was really good. It was a good letter.
Yeah, Theodore Roosevelt, definitively not a coward.
Yeah, Joseph Tipler, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He has a way of just writing about something that's completely not local or anything that is relevant to the Chronicle specifically, but will write about history or something, and it's almost always very entertaining.
Yeah, I love Joseph Tipler. I reached out through Doug Blosser and asked him to write a column at one point, and he said, no, I prefer my monthly letters.
Well, good for him.
But yeah, he's a good letter writer. Historian.
And finally, John McCroskey commentary. Education is necessary for public to support 911 center tax and jail upgrades. And I have a hot take for you guys. Call them good.
You agree with John McCroskey, huh?
Yeah.
He goes into the history of the jail and the requirements that made it happen and how government construction processes work and don't work and what changes he made when he was sheriff. It's kind of informative. And basically, he notes that the county didn't explain why this is necessary. And damn it, I agree with him. You know what? I would be a hypocrite and a fraud if I did not applaud John McCroskey for doing what I've said he should have been doing all along, which is writing, based on his expertise. And his expertise was being the sheriff and running the jail. And he's done it. And he made some fine points.
Good.
So,
Look at that.
Good.
anyway, yeah, good column by McCroskey.
I enjoyed reading this as well. I think it's really interesting to get the background about the new old jail, he calls it in the column. And it makes me wonder, with all of the budget constraints that he would have had at the time, if he would have called our friends the roof doctor in order to get a free quote on the new jail's roof. Because, I don't know if you guys know this, but since 1959, the Roof Doctor has been a family-owned roofing company, and they offer free estimates on your roof and do emergency roof repairing and all sorts of other things.
The Roof Doctor is Western Washington's family practice since 1959. You can call them locally at 360-736-0246 or give them a call at 360-499-0064. But what you probably want to do is just visit theroofdoctor.com, and you can click the button, and they'll come out, give you a free estimate.
Nice.
That's it. Anything else you guys want to talk about, Roof Doctor?
Yeah, that's
They
good enough.
also
Good
offer
friends.
skylight installations and replacements.
Okay. Do we have a Sirens Banger of the Week?
I got one. Give me a second here. Banter a little bit. I just got to pull it up.
Fine. What are you guys doing on Slack? I heard that notification go off. Oh, there it is. Some birds. A little inside baseball for the listeners out there. The Chronicle Slack channel is 90% pictures of birds.
Yeah, that's on me. I'm sorry. I mean, it's not always, but yeah, I feel like I initiated said trend.
I liked when Emily or somebody submitted a Beak of the Week photo like yesterday, and then you quickly responded with Beak of the Week, your own photos.
I actually was working on them when she sent that.
Kind of felt rude.
But I actually have swans for...
I feel like the humble seagull deserves a little light.
I'd be happy to do humble
I always wonder,
seagull
like,
also.
why are they here?
Yeah.
What do they know? Flood
Oh, wait.
coming?
Oh, my gosh. That reminds me. Tell them.
Oh, so we were driving the other day.
Better be a sick seagull
This story
story.
is about
It
to
is
be
a sick
anticlimactic.
seagull story. So we're driving back to Aaron's place where we are living. And
Oh, you guys are all living together now?
You could just say your house.
Aaron's rental.
Aaron's rental. And right by the spray park, I just see a huge gathering of seagulls, a flock of seagulls, if you will. And there's like 100 of them. And I look, and there's a hand that comes out of the window of the apartment building. And this little old lady is feeding hundreds of seagulls out of this
And
window.
then the next day, she was doing it again. This is a common practice.
Because I took Isabel back to see it, and she was doing it again.
Awesome.
It was very cool.
Somebody's got to feed the seagulls. They're
Yeah.
not going to feed
There were
themselves.
so many. They're like lining the rooftops waiting for her.
I found my Sirens Banger of the Week, and it's a malicious prosecution case. I'll just read the whole thing. Just after 9:30 a.m. on November 24th, officers responded to a secondhand report of a possible domestic violence protection order violation. Soon after officers were dispatched, the respondent, a 30-year-old Centralia man, called the police to accuse the protected party of breaking into his home and hiding in his closet. Officers contacted the protected person in the closet and learned the respondent had invited the protected party over, and this is quoting, "Evidently, the man, after learning a third party reported the incident, told the protected person to hide in his closet, then attempted to have them arrested for burglary so he would not be in violation of the order," according to the department.
So
He invited. We'll say. We'll say
Yeah, break it
he
down.
invited she. We don't know that to be the case though. And then he invited her
she had
over.
a protection order against him.
Yes, and then somebody called and was like, "Hey, these two aren't supposed to be hanging out together." And then he told her to go in the closet and was like, "I'll take care of this." And then was like, "She broke into my house." Prosecute. So, anyways, I don't see the charge of malicious prosecution very often, and I thought that was interesting.
That's an
Not
interesting
necessarily a banger, but
Yeah, that's interesting. Also, if you have a protection order out against somebody and invite you over, just don't go. Like you kind of.
yeah.
Maybe they.
So you're siding with the
I don't want to victim shame here. I know that's what you're getting at, but like
I did see
That
this
is-
other report of a disorderly man who lit a pair of his own pants on fire on the sidewalk, then put out the fire with his own soda. And I just wanted to know why it was important that it was his own soda and not someone else's soda that he used to put out the
I
fire.
love seeing what the police logs say for that kind of stuff. It's like you ask so many more questions because of the very specific wording.
It's true.
Yeah, I like when they do that. All right, good ones. People's Champion of the Week, we've got a few. We've got Chastity Pennington, who is the new executive director of the United Way of Lewis County. She replaces Christian Brune, who resigned earlier this year after 2 years at the helm. He was hired following Debbie Campbell's retirement. She had the job for 22 years. We've also got Terry the Hare Harris, honored by the Chamber of Commerce as the Grand Marshal of the Aloha Christmas Santa Parade in Chehalis. And didn't he decorate the little house over there?
Pump house
He does it every
Looks
time.
great.
and the Christmas train, holiday train.
Looks good. We've got Mike and Sue Austin, who are honored by the Chehalis Foundation for their legacy of service. We've got...
I
Go
was
ahead.
just gonna say,
Go ahead.
They've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for school supplies in Chehalis and at St. Joe's. So that's just a little background on them.
We've got the abused dog found shot along Spirit Lake Highway who was adopted and is set to lead the holiday parade. And we've got families gaining new members in Lewis County Adoption Day celebration.
So it goes to Trooper the dog.
Yeah, I love
Sure.
the dog.
Yeah, the dog was a good story.
Yeah, that's as you pointed out, a daily news story, but it happened in the Chronicle's coverage area.
Yes.
Spirit Lake Memorial Highway, we count it. But the dog was found shot in the head with its muzzle duct taped, and that is horrible.
It's awful.
That is horrible.
I am sure happy that being the Grand Marshal of the Longview Holiday Parade is going to heal all those wounds.
Yeah.
The photos are great on the updated
So great,
story.
yeah.
That dog looks so happy. I just want to pet that dog.
Teased it on the front with Pup in the Parade.
Who
was
does
really-
that, though? It's just messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But it makes me wonder, would you rather be shot in the head or be the Grand Marshal of the Longview Parade? Facebook comments of the week. You can guess what these are mostly regarding. On the letter to the editor about the comic, about the lady stuck in the tub. One comment, it's lowbrow at best. It's a good question that deserves to be addressed by the Chronicle. Why? When humor is attempted at the expense of another, that isn't humor, it's bullying. This took place 40 years ago. Now it is
Also
definitely
a fictional
possible-
Herman character.
Yeah, these aren't real people. We don't even know what the wife looks like. Now, it is definitely possible to create humor that capitalizes on another's misfortune, and some could even pull off humor that draws attention to target audience, race, religion, ability, etc. But that's harder to pull off in a sincere way, and you'll notice those good at it do it through participation and belonging, and not by being mean. You are criticizing a dead man. This comic was just mean-spirited. So, to the Chronicle, is this how you intend to show up? Is it?
I thought a lot about my life after that.
Does everyone think the Chronicle made this cartoon and not a man who was born in 1937 in London?
Yes.
I think we actually, they do think we have some accountability for it, and we do. It's just a question of whether you thought that really crossed any sort of line.
Yeah. Another comment, read the, quote, article. What made it even more fun was the ad next to the writer's name, which is for a walk-in tub.
That's pretty wild.
Oh, that's great.
Good job advertising.
I mean, that's an algorithm thing. This guy had just been searching for a walk-in tub would be my guess. And then my favorite comment, This letter is funnier than the comic, to be honest. It's so over the top. Quote, do you find this risible, sir? Do you feel a little giggle? Are you amused and entertained by this low-hanging fruit? Did this sort of thing not die out in the 70s, where a male comic's entire routine could be summed up in the sentence, my fat, ugly wife shops too much? For shame, Chronicle.
That is pretty good.
I did not write that comment, but...
May as well have.
What a banger.
It's the most excitement we've gotten out of the comics page in a while, so I like
And,
it.
Yeah.
and the letters to the editors, like on Facebook at least.
Yeah, people loved that one, or hated it, or hated us, or all of them.
Still wondering why the truck stop post garnered 300 comments. It's not like they're bringing in an Olive Garden. Jesus. What's
That's fake Italian. Sbarro's brings the old country.
yeah, all those real Italians in Lewis County are just gonna. Hey,
You're gonna love that.
What was
pizza.
that? That wasn't loud. Okay.
I'm not gonna do an Italian thing.
Thank you.
It's so restrained today. We already covered what's in the next edition, which came out today. And that's about it.
We'll have more news in the next paper. We'll have a Jim Walsh profile probably. Looks like Mitchell just dropped it in there
Boy,
after he's took over the leadership post for the state Republican Party. I know you're excited about that one, Aaron.
Not
Cannot
Mitchell,
wait.
but Jim Walsh.
Yeah, Mitchell didn't. Jim Walsh did. There's a controlled substance homicide that we just updated the story on cronline.com about, and an update on that Centralia fire last week outside of your guys' house.
Yeah, the
All
house
of
that we
your
live
guys'
in with Aaron.
anyway, yeah, that the Hub City Creamery building.
Yeah, and
shocking
we could
that
have a
fire
profile on George Sharp as well of
good.
Thurston County. Very excited about that one.
James and the Giant Peach at Evergreen Playhouse, which Emily, our very own, is in. Very fun.
What did they end up using for the peach? I know I asked that.
They wanted it to not look like a butt.
Right,
So,
as one does.
so they just have like the top of the peach along the top of the stage, kind of, and then like just a peach colored stage area.
Well, if you would have
underneath
told
it.
me that, I would be buying tickets right now.
Spoiler alert,
It's,
man.
It's a
you
really
have to use
cool
your
stage
imagination.
setup.
Aaron's only going to
If you have an
that show if
imagination, Aaron.
the peach looks like a butt.
You're telling me I have to go to a show and imagine?
It is a
big-
children's story.
Yeah, but it's Roald Dahl. Like he kind of gets after it.
There's also a really
he's
fun.
a big old weirdo pervert.
There's a what?
What a take.
There's a really fun little Easter egg in there where like they're in the orphanage and one of the kids is reading Matilda. It's very cute.
Well,
I'm a huge Roald Dahl
do you
fan.
guys know? Oh, do you know what magazine he used to write for?
No.
Playboy.
Really?
Big
I did
old
not know
pervert.
that. Did not know that.
He only wrote it for the articles, though.
What did he write? Like, what do you write if you write for Playboy?
Obviously, you've never just read the article.
Insightful articles.
No, I haven't ever read one. So what do you write?
Profiles, reviews of things,
Lifestyles.
short fiction.
Okay.
Short fiction.
Playboy used to have really good interviews. I've heard. I sometimes out in the woods,
All the
the bonds of literature.
all the lessons Mother Nature teaches us.
Would it be kind of like a GQ sort of thing?
Yeah, like a GQ or like what if Maxim magazine was classy and had boobs in it?
You
Anyway,
saying Maxim's not classy?
it's
a big
But
reader back in
Playboy
the day.
is?
Yeah, I think. I would make the argument Playboy is classier than Maxim, more tasteful. We're sponsored by
Because there's boobs.
Summit Funding and the Roof Doctor. Leave a review and rating on Apple Podcasts if you want. And after this last discussion, I don't know how you can't. I would be interested to read it. Thank you. We'll be back next week.